Hi, my name is Masha and today I'm going to be showing you how to make one of these beautiful loops to start off your friendship bracelet. So as you can see, both of these bracelets have a sort of teardrop shape to the loop. I'm going to show you how to do that, but you can also finish the loop here and just start making the bracelet in a horizontal way rather than, having the teardrop. By the way, if you want to find out how to make this beautiful friendship bracelet, I have a video on that, and it'll be in the card and in the description down below, so you can check that out and make this beautiful bracelet for yourself. So let's get into making loops. So first of all, you're going to need a pattern that has an even number of strings for each color. So these are the colors that I have chosen, and I'll link the pattern that I'm going to be using down below so you can check that out if you want to make the pattern yourself. So my pattern that I've chosen does have an even number of strings for each color, and you need that because you're going to have to fold the string at this point of the loop, so both of the ends of the string essentially become two separate strings, which is why if you're making a loop you need to have an even number of strings for each color. So these are my colors. I'm going to cut the string for my friendship bracelet, and I'm going to show you what you do next. So first of all, I'm going to say you should probably cut slightly more string than you think you need, because it's best to have some string left over than to run out of string mid-bracelet, because you can do stuff with the leftovers, and if you run out of string, you can still work with that because you can add more string, but it's just a hassle that you want to avoid altogether. So what you want to do first is actually choose the color that you want for your loop. So in these two bracelets, I had a sort of orangey color and a purple color. So you want to choose the color that you want for the top of your loop, and then whatever color you choose, you want to cut more of that string than you do of the others. So for all the other ones, you want to cut pretty much the same amount, but for the one that you choose for your main color of the loop, you want to cut slightly more because, you're going to use more of it for the loop. So let's get to cutting, and I'll show you what to do next. So once you've cut all the string, you want to fold it in half. And then you want to take the string that you're going to use for the color of the bracelet, the one that is longest, right? And you're going to fold that in half too, but you are going to keep it separate. So the next thing you're going to do, you're going to tie the main string onto the actual bracelet. So you're going to put this loop underneath this loop, pull it through like this, and then put this end of the string inside this loop. And pull it out. So once you've pulled that out, you're gonna and make a knot. So there you go, you've successfully tied the main string onto the bracelet. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the top end far away so it's not in the way of us making the actual bracelet. Then separate these two strings also and put one of them to the top because we're not going to need it right now, and then we're going to keep this string because this is the one that we're going to be working with right now. So at this point you might want to tie your bracelet down so it's easier for you to work with. So once you've got the bracelet secure, you're going to start making forward, backward, or backward, forward knots. And if you don't know how to make those knots, I actually did a separate video on that. It's going to be in the card and the link in the description below, so you can check that out because I'm not going to be going in depth of how to do that now. But I'm going to quickly show you. So you make a forward knot onto the bracelet, and then you make a backward knot onto the bracelet. Then forward. And then you continue making these forward backward knots onto the bracelet for as long as you want. The more you make, the bigger the loop will be. Make sure that it's nice and even, so I'm sort of just fixing up the knots a little bit here as I go. I think that's enough for this end because it's going to be like that. Right, so once you're done with this side, you actually switch it up and you go to the other side. So I'm just going to quickly undo this, and I'm going to switch it. And then you do the same thing on the other side. And you can always stop and sort of rearrange them a little bit so they look nice and tidy, and then check what the loop is going to be like. So I actually think I might do a bit more on this one and then I'm going to be done. Oh, See, right there, I'm just going to zoom in for you quickly. See, right there, you can see a bit of string coming through. It's because I didn't tie it very well, so I might just go like this maybe, see if that fixes it. If not, I could have just like pushed it up a bit with my finger so that you can't see any of the bass strings coming through. I think that is about the loop that I want to make, so I'm going to finish making the loop for now. Right, so when you're done knotting, you're going to create the loop. And at this point, you can actually start making the bracelet. So if you've got a pattern, you can just start making the pattern right away. But what I'm going to show you is how to make the teardrop effect of the bracelet. So first you want to secure your bracelet, and right now I'm having trouble with that. I want to get myself a clipboard because I hear that's a great way to secure your bracelets. By the way, if you have any suggestions on how to secure bracelets onto your workplace, let me know because I'd love to hear how you guys do that. So right now I'm actually going to use a bit of tape, which isn't the best way, but I don't have any other options right now, so once you secure the bracelet with the loop, you want to have a look at your pattern, the one that you're trying to make, and find a sort of triangle shape in that. Let me show you what I mean. So have a look at your pattern and try to locate the triangle that you want to be working with. So this is the pattern that I'm going to be using, and this is the triangle that I'm going to be making right now. So what you want to do now is you want to look at the outermost layer of this triangle, which for me is this set of knots. So these are the knots that I'm going to be making right now in order to create my pattern. So once you've located your triangle, you need to put your threads into the correct order for you to make this triangle. So if you look closely at my pattern, I've left two things coloured in. The actual knots, which is the round bit of the pattern, and the little sticky out coloured bits. Those things represent the strings. So you need to look very closely into your pattern, locate those bits of thread, and put your threads in the exact same order as they are in the pattern. Once you've done that, it'll be very easy for you to make the knots that are shown in the pattern. So let's get into that. So as I said, you want to arrange the threads as they are in your pattern. So as you can see, my first one is got to be the purple one, so I'm going to make a forward-backward knot with the purple thread onto the whole left piece of my threads. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to make sure that no threads are sticking out. I'm going to tie it firmly. Make sure that's a nice tight knot. And I'm going to leave it off to the side. So the next thread that I'm going to need is the yellow one, so that's what I'm going to take out. So now I'm going to make another forward-backward knot, but this time only on these threads. I'm going to leave this one behind because I don't need it anymore. I'm going to make sure that's nice and tight again. So the next one is my orange one, so let's go with orange. Nice and tight. And as you can see, I am leaving all of these threads behind and I'm making the knots only on the ones that are left here. So the next one is my white. So I'm going to take out the white. I'm going to repeat this step again, forward, backward with the white. Then goes the blue. And then goes my other purple one. Then my other blue one. And see, I'm having less and less string to work with here, and so the knots are much easier to make now. So next one is the white again. Then the next one is yellow. Right, so I'm done with this side. I have all the strings arranged in the order that I'm going to need them. I'm going to do the same thing for this one, except instead of using forward-backward knots, I'm going to be doing backward-forward knots. Now once you've done both sides and both sides have the strings in the correct order, you want to connect the two sides by making a knot between these two strings. Like that, connecting it and making it into a tear shape. So this part is actually quite tricky and I'm not particularly good at it, especially on camera with a tripod between my arms, but I'm gonna try to do my best. Okay, so there you have it. You've connected the two parts of the bracelet and made a tear-shaped loop at the top of the bracelet. So now we actually have to start making the bracelet, and we're going to do that by following the triangular part of our pattern. Bear with me, this is going to be quite tricky, but hopefully you'll be able to follow along. So the first couple of knots in my particular bracelet are done with the purple string, so that's what I'm going to do first. So I'm going to separate 7 strings on this side. I'm going to put these to the side so that they're not in the way, and I'm going to make the knots that I need to make on these strings with my purple thread. So the first one is a forward knot onto the yellow string. The second one is a forward knot onto the orange string. The third is a forward knot onto the white string. The fourth is a forward knot onto the blue string. The fifth is a backward knot with the other purple string onto this one, but since they're the same color, I'm actually going to continue making a forward knot because that's just easier and saves time. Since they're both the same color, whatever knot you make, it's going to look the same, so it doesn't matter. The next one is a forward knot onto the blue string. And finally we have a forward backward knot onto the white string. Right, so now that I'm done with that, I have a backward knot of the yellow string onto the white string. So I'm going to separate the two. I'm going to be very careful here not to mess up the part of the bracelet because it's quite delicate. But then again, I'm going to make sure that the knot is quite tight and secure. Right, so the next knot is a backward forward knot of the orange string onto the white string. And again, this part of the bracelet is quite fragile because there's only a few strings holding it together. So I'm going to be quite careful, but also firm at the same time. So we're done with this half of the bracelet. I'm going to do the same thing on this half of the bracelet, following the other half of the pattern, the other half of the triangle. And then once we get to this point, we make a final knot connecting the two parts of the bracelet. So there you go, you've started your bracelet. When you make a teardrop loop, the bracelet begins in the V shape. You can continue making the bracelet in a V shape if you want to. You can just continue reading the pattern in the way that you did in the very beginning, or you can do a few knots however you like to sort of even it out and make it horizontal and do it the regular way. And here's the finished product. So once again, I'm going to be linking the pattern to this bracelet down below so you can make this bracelet if you want to. I finished this bracelet by bringing all the strings to a point, and I'm going to be filming a video on how to make that very soon, so subscribe to see that. I've been really enjoying making content for you guys recently, and I want to thank you all for all of your comments and likes and all of that. I wasn't expecting so many, to be honest. It's always fun to talk to your audience, so I encourage you to leave a comment down below and see what you enjoyed about this video, what maybe something you didn't understand, what videos you want to see in the future, and if you ever create something based on my videos, I'd love to see your creations, so send them to me on Instagram. All the links are down below, and also give me a follow on there because I post some content on there as well every once in a while. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!